Hi YouTube, this is Mop Talks with Trev. I'm Trev, and this is Modern Organic Philosophy. So, I wanted to clarify more on the trivium. It's not always something you write down, it's how your mind already works as well. And in knowing that, we can reverse kind of engineer it into fitting your individual life with your feeling and your intuition. It has to be from the first person. So we're trying to break it down to the most basic of elements. So in esoteric practice, we always break everything down into the primordial elements and different, for me, I like to learn all the way the Chinese break it down, for instance, is different than the Western elements. And we can talk about that later. I'm going to stay on topic because I'm trying to get to even more primordial elements. Because we know that 4 is not the original number. We know that 1 is. So I drew this small thing. And it's kind of like the 1 is Godhead. And then the 2 and the 3 are the fire and the ice. Which it's really like more of a primordial fire. Other than the 4. So what we're really talking about is hot and cold. And how 2 and 3 came into existence at the same time. So it's really the universe started off Godhead, 1, and then 2, 3. And then we get to the 4, which is Midgard, which is the 4 elements. And esoterically, it's your will. It's your solar plexus in, the Vedic kind of thing as well. It's always yellow and it's right here. So it's like black and white, red and blue, yellow, Kabbalistically. So I feel like that's the 2 side of like your heart. And that's like, feeling and intuition. And I think, you read this stuff and I think there's been mistakes talking about how, water is feeling esoterically. Water, blue. And then red is fire. Red is fire. And that's intuition esoterically. And this is my little contribution. I'm figuring it out like kind of on the fly. And now with the trivium, for instance, instead of hearing the information and then just immediately blurting it out, I know that I haven't processed it yet, and I need to go ahead and give myself time to look it over. And maybe in different phases of my life, I was feeling and using intuition more, maybe when I was younger. And then I'll have times where I'm like a little bit too logical. And I'm like, all right, I got to get out of my head. Let me feel this thing out. And then, so, you want to understand the 4 elements esoterically. So you can be like, all right, well, that's air. I'm thinking too much. Maybe I need to bring it back down to earth and like go mow the lawn or something. And maybe you're too up in your emotion and your intuition, and maybe what you need is kind of logical thought, planning, thinking it out. So let's see what else I wrote down here. So this is a true dichotomy, fire and ice, as opposed to false dichotomies such as politically. And maybe that brings up a new question, because I've been talking about so Republicans and Democrats could be thought of fire and ice proper. Fire and water proper, the primordial fire and water. Because, the fire in the 4 elements is not the same as this primordial fire we're talking about. So, yeah, and that's basically it. So, mop out. I'm going to continue. It's basically what we're doing here in this particular video is what I call colorology, kind of the study of colors, like in a philosophical and psychological way, and numerology, and making the associations with the various elements and esoteric philosophy and, you know, occultism, as far as self-betterment and, you know, rising your true potential. And these are the technologies that people suggest you do, and I stand by them, you know. You know, you eat the right food, you get your exercise, and you also have your dietary mental exercises and kind of, you know, so because you're trying to take care of mind, body, and spirit, and that kind of trinity. And so I would like to clarify a little bit more kind of Kabbalistically in a way, the Godhead, and then the primordial, the fire and the ice. And you could almost say that where Godhead doesn't, that's kind of before gender. Now that you have the 2-3 pop up, now we're talking about gender. And part of me wants to say that both the fire and the ice are both feminine. Or maybe they're unsexed, because that's another part of this whole thing. You're looking for the yin and the yang. So, but we could say yin and yang wise that fire is yang and ice is yin. And that's kind of what you would say yin yang proper, Taoistically. That's fire and ice. So, and they come together to create the thing. And when you read the Norse mythology, it tells you exactly how that happens. The primordial wind comes, blows the fire kind of on the ice, the water drips, and then kind of Midgard is created out of that. And it has to do with it. That's just kind of the basic right there. So having to do with this video. And I hope you enjoyed it. Trev out. Modern organic philosophy. Take care.